Storms are brewing out west. Here's video from our sister station in Bismarck of what it looks like to be a funnel cloud near Beulah, North Dakota. This happened earlier this evening. Good evening, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us.
Let's head over to Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, who's had his eyes on this storm all night long. Hutch?
Thanks so much. Let's get you up to date. A new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for southeasternmost North Dakota and west central Minnesota. Line of thunderstorms moving through, a lot of lightning, as you can see. The strongest cells are stuck on the southern side of the storm, moving through Oaks as the storms did. 1-inch diameter hail was reported. That's moving in towards Gwinner right now. This storm has been showing some signs of rotation, and I want to caution you, if you're in the Gwinner area or just upwind from the storm as it moves east at 30 miles per hour, there's some tight rotation with this storm. We're not expecting violent tornadoes, but a storm that's severe can sometimes produce tornadoes. Here we have greens immediately next to reds, and that's one of the couplet areas that we look for rotation in a storm right over Gwinner. So again, a pretty dangerous storm making its way east-northeast at about 30 miles per hour. We'll be heading into southern, just south of the Lisbon area. The new warning is in this area, and this is for the Wyndmere area. Large 1-inch diameter hail possible from this cell as it makes its way through Richland and Wilkin counties. The warning is in effect until 11 o'clock. That storm will likely pass just north of Breckenridge. Strong thunderstorms in southeast North Dakota, possibly severe. Good old-fashioned thunder showers moving along Interstate 94. Will Fargo see the action? Yes, it looks like just after the close of our broadcast tonight, but we'll be tracking these storms with you live throughout the program. If the storms approach your area, seek shelter. Please stay away from windows and keep it tuned right here for the latest.
All right, thank you so much, Hutch. And you can stay up to date on the weather conditions where you are anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just download the Storm Team weather app to get the latest weather conditions and even follow the radar live. Just search VNL Weather in the App Store.
Nationwide, a majority of high school students surveyed say they don't feel safe in school. In fact, only 3 out of 10 high school students say they feel safe in school.
That's according to a Gallup student poll that asked hundreds of thousands of students from schools across all states. Valley News Team's crime and safety reporter, Nicole Johnson, spoke to local students about how they feel in school.
I don't think that the teachers do much about it because I don't think they can. But I know that there is a lot that goes on.
School, a place where children begin their lives. Some might say a safe zone.
How safe do you feel?
I feel pretty safe, I guess. I generally surround myself with a lot of safe friends, so I personally feel safe, but I can understand where someone would not.
A lot of bullies.
Every student I spoke with brought up bullying as a major factor in why they would be afraid to go to school.
Suicidal thoughts happen because friends and bullies like that.
Have you ever been bullied before?
Plenty of times.
And what's that like?
Hurtful.
Fights happens quite often, and unfortunately students, they sit and they watch.
Drinking is taken as something that's cool, but I think that it's terrible for you.
What about drugs or drinking at school?
Yeah, that's a big issue. That's a big issue.
That's common, especially with a bunch of the kids here.
I have some friends who, they come to class baked sometimes, and they can't function.
Senior Jordan Paxton says the amount of students smoking marijuana is out of control.
75% of people, and 90% of seniors do it. It's sad, really.
I know that drugs are horrible for you and that they've ruined a lot of lives, and I would enjoy if it would not be tolerated in schools anymore.
They have drug searches that go on, but I think the punishment should be more than just, slap on the wrist if you're under 18, because it's, I don't know, people do it and they don't learn from it, so they just keep doing it.
Because these drugs that are currently in our community right now are so dangerous that kids, a lot of times students, don't realize that just one mistake means the end of your life.
Fargo and West Fargo school officials say they are taking drug problems seriously. In fact, according to surveys done in Fargo public schools, the majority of students say they do feel safe in school, even in high school.
I think that kids are more engaged. I think we expect more of them. Are some of the issues in society today more difficult? Yes. But there were a lot of difficult issues 20 years ago, too.
With hundreds of students in each school, those we spoke to wanted to say good job to teachers, but say teachers can't stop everything.
Do you think parents out there know how bad it really is?
no idea.
In Fargo, Nicole Johnson, Valley News Live.
West Fargo officials say bullying has gone down in their schools after targeting that issue over the last couple of years. Fargo Superintendent Jeff Schatz wants to stress to students, if you see something that makes you feel unsafe, say something.
At least 8 people are facing charges after being accused in a break-in and vandalism in McLeod, North Dakota. Court documents say the group was drinking around a campfire in late August of last year. They decided to see if the McLeod Schoolhouse Museum was open. It wasn't, so they broke a window and climbed inside. They eventually made pancakes and left a mess behind and some cash. The Bethany Lutheran Church in McLeod was also vandalized, but investigators were unable to find any evidence at the church to connect the 2 break-ins.
Out with the old and in with the new. That's what West Fargo residents will soon be saying when they have their very first sip of Fargo water from their home taps. The city of West Fargo will start the drinking water transition on June 1st, with plans to complete it by July. It's recommended that when your area is being flushed, to disconnect all home filtering systems and to not wash your clothes or dishes. Water conservation is encouraged. Then, once flushing is complete, water discoloration is expected.
Just run cold water in your tub till it clears up. Our mains out in front of your house will be clean, but we can't clean out the services going to your home. So basically, you have to clean out that water that's in your house.
For more information about West Fargo's drinking water transition and where you can find an interactive map showing which zones are being flushed, head over to valleynewslive.com and click on this story.
The number of states suing the Obama administration over its new transgender bathroom mandate has grown to 11. The lawsuit was announced today by Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. The lawsuit challenges a federal directive that would allow transgender students to use the bathrooms and locker rooms that match their gender identity. Public school districts who refuse to implement the policy are at risk of losing federal funding. The lawsuit also defends a local Texas school district whose policies are at odds with the Obama administration's new directive.
Any problems with fruit flies? There have been several reports of the pesky bugs around the area, but there are several ways you can fight back. As Valley News Team's Giovanna Simic discovered, most of the ingredients are already in your home.
Fruit flies are an annoying little problem that develop in moist areas. Luckily, there are ways to get rid of them.
We have customers come in and ask us how to control pests from flies or fruit flies. So it's a very common problem, and this is the time of year when it really arises.
Using chemicals is one way.
The Taro fly trap is a good product. It lasts up to 30 days. It's non-toxic, and you can place that near or on your counter. The Tempo Insect Control is a very common, popular product. It has a wide spectrum of pest control use. It's something you need to dilute with water and use in an applicator.
And if you're not a fan of using chemical products, I'll show you some cheap and easy ways to get rid of fruit flies. First, make sure you clear your counter of any fruits or vegetables, the main attraction for fruit flies. One common method is using apple cider vinegar. Fruit flies can't resist it. Pour some into a container and cover it with plastic wrap. Next, poke holes for the flies to enter. They get trapped and it's easy to dispose of them. Another method is combining vinegar and dish soap. Add 3 drops of soap to the vinegar and leave uncovered. The flies should be attracted to the sweet and sour scent and will die when they consume the soapy poison. Here's another. Add 10 drops of lavender essential oil to 2 ounces of hot water in a spray bottle. Shake well and spray along windowsills and doorways or directly on flies. There's a bonus. It also leaves a refreshing scent. Giovanna Simic, Valley News Live.
Also, throw out your garbage as often as possible and clean up after eating to help prevent fruit flies. For more remedies, head to valleynewslive.com and click on this story.